Hi, my name's Jeni Barrett. I'm the Marketing and Research Director, and I'm here with Jeni Browne, our Sales Director. Now, you may have realised that we've been quite quiet on the subject of Brexit, probably because there's so many people talking about Brexit, we didn't want to add our voice. However, we are getting lots of questions from customers about what it means for the market, and so I'm going to ask Jeni what she thinks. Jeni, 3 questions and 3 questions only. What's going on with the housing market? What's going on with the mortgage market? And is now a good time to invest?
Very good questions.
Thank you. So should we start with the first one?
Yes.
What is going on with the housing market?
So the housing market is very, very flat, I would say. So overall, the land registry are showing that the house prices across the board, across the whole of the UK, are up by 2.5% on last year. However, what we need to do is also measure that, or be measured when we look at those numbers and think about the regional variations. Yeah. So some parts of the country have fared much better than others. Doing particularly well is Wales and the West Midlands, who are both seeing growth of 5.2%. Unfortunately, London is down by 0.6% and the North East is down by 1%. So blended across the board, it's actually holding its own just. But in different regions, maybe some are doing better than others.
Okay, so what does that actually mean for borrowers across the whole of the mortgage market, whether they're looking to refinance or purchase residential property to live in or for buy-to-let purposes? Yeah,
I think that's a really big question to answer actually. So in terms of any property investment, you have to view it as a long-term thing. Yeah. So, you know, overall, across many years, house prices have always done well and gone up in the long term. Yeah. You know, and I don't think it would be right to say to a first-time buyer, well, you know, you've been saving up for your dream home and actually the house prices are feeling a little bit less buoyant at the moment, so maybe you should hold off for another couple of years, because there's so much more that goes into this than just house prices. It's an emotional thing, it's a lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
In terms of people looking to invest in as a business, as a kind of investment decision purely, again, you know, house prices they go up, they go down. This is a thing that's been the case for many, many years, and they do tend to recover. It's just how quickly they recover that's really the big question. One of the comments that we often hear from our investors at the moment is, you know, I'm just waiting to see how far down they actually go, and that's the really big thing at the moment. So in terms of what's coming up in the next couple of weeks with the Brexit, there is some real nerves that if we end up with a hard Brexit with no deal, then there's talk about, you know, house prices plummeting and, you know, people losing money. Yeah. I think realistically, you know, we have to be honest with ourselves. There is a housing shortage in the UK. Demand outstrips supply, so fundamentally there's always going to be, you know, a cushion in terms of how far things will go before people simply need to continue to buy and invest.
Yeah, so what does that mean for buy-to-let investors? Because from our business point of view, we've actually seen an increase in inquiries, but not necessarily from the types of customers we would normally expect to be hearing from at this time of year.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and it takes me back to sort of 2010 time actually. So what we tend to find is when the market is slow, flat, and in some cases probably falling ever so slightly, the people that really come out to play are the professional landlords, because these are the people who have a portfolio, they're quite happy just to let it sit and tick over. But once they sense there might be a bargain out there, they suddenly get a little bit more interested in reinvesting. So actually the people that we're really seeing coming out and looking to buy at the moment are the people that have been in the game for a while. Yeah. They really understand the property market and they like the idea of not paying over the odds for their investment.
So you think that they're not actually taking any notice particularly of Brexit and the votes and things that are coming up this week, but they're just cracking on?
Yeah, I think this has been going on for a really long time now, hasn't it? You know, and I think it's really hard because obviously there's huge amounts of money at stake when you're looking at buying any property in the UK. But people have been putting big decisions on hold for a really long time. You know, and at some point we have to just accept life does have to go on. You know, and however the votes go this month, fundamentally nothing actually changes. People still need houses to live in. People are still going to want to rent from you. You know, that doesn't change overnight. And I think people are sort of just thinking, you know, we've been sat on our hands for so long now. I think the other thing to also mention is that the remortgage market is doing incredibly well right now, and I think that's because the interest rates, the rate at which people can borrow is so competitive that actually people are saying, well, actually, I've held off making this decision for a while now, but really, I'd be mad not to do something and take a rate that's really, really good. And as a business, we've always been, for a long time now, been championing 5-year fixed rates because it buys people a really good long period of certainty in what could be a slightly uncertain time, and also not having to refinance every couple of years saves them costs and fees. And so really, I think at the moment when people are facing a period of time where they're not quite sure what's going to happen, they're feeling nervous, taking a really, really competitive 5-year fixed rate is just the perfect solution.
Yeah. And we've also been seeing an increase in product transfers. Can you just explain to people who don't really know what that is, how that works?
Yeah, so product transfer is where when your mortgage rate ends with your existing lender, they offer you a new deal to remain with them. And it's been really interesting for us because for a long, long time, lenders have been incredibly focused on getting in new borrowers, And this is how they've measured themselves, and this is how they deem themselves successful. But what they've been doing is watching their existing borrowers walk out the back door to someone else, which actually doesn't make a huge amount of commercial sense because the cost of recruiting a new borrower is actually incredibly high. And so what we've seen over particularly the last 12 months is more and more lenders wake up to this fact and start to really offer a strong and bona fide offering to their existing borrowers to stay where they are. And that's really, really good news for the borrower because it saves them money. And also they don't have to go through the whole mortgage application process. They stay with us. It's very, very quick and painless. And that's been a real growth market. So the really good news for borrowers now is that the product transfer market is actually a genuinely competitive option for people to look at.
Okay. And so if you're a customer of ours, you should know that we'll send you out a reminder when your mortgage is up for renewal, and we will have a look to see whether or not that a product transfer is the best option, or whether or not you should be remortgaging away with another lender, presumably. So in that regard, we are going to be posting some remortgage products and some product transfer products that sort of complement what we've been talking about today and really represent good value for money. So hopefully you will sign up to our investor update, which will give you more information, and you can like and share this video with your friends and colleagues who might be interested in investing. And if you want to talk to Jeni personally, you can call our main number, which is 0345 345 6788. Thanks for watching.